When we say practicing happiness, it's easily understood as being, super happy about things, right? And finding reasons to be really positive, and then taking in every stimulus as a, positive stimulus, and then having a lot of endorphins and things like that. And that is one way of looking at things, but I find happiness in the Buddhist sense. So, lack of suffering, right? In Buddhist kind of a world, we define something by the lack of something. So, what is healthy? Like, is being jacked and six pack with like everything, is that healthy? Or is the all the numbers in your labs looking amazing, is that healthy? In the Buddhist sense, lack of illness is healthy. So lack of death is like alive, and so happiness means there is no suffering. And so, in one way, I'm kind of trying to get you to adjust your definition of practicing happiness into more just like neutral area, right? We're not trying to be overstimulated. We're not trying to be over happy. We're trying to kind of be not suffering. But this sounds a little bit like a bummer, right? Why can't we be happy? Why do we have to settle for something in the middle where we're not suffering? But I find that this kind of feedback usually tends to come when you haven't really experienced one full day of just complete bliss and no worries, no nothing on your mind, nothing bogging you down, nothing feeling heavy. That tranquility that you get is a very special kind of feeling, and compared to the endorphin and the stimulus driven happiness, I would much prefer the lack of suffering, right? And that has to do with the mechanism of suffering. And the mechanism of suffering is whenever we have a desire, right? Whenever we have a desire, two possible results. We either get the desire or we don't, right? Needless to say, when we don't get what we desire, it feels bad. And so because of that, we suffer. Then that means when we do get the things that we want, then we wouldn't suffer, right? But in this world, what tends to happen is I get the object of my desire. Yay! I get an external stimulus-driven happiness. And then I get used to that good feeling. So if at the beginning of the feeling good, if I felt 100% good, over time it diminishes. And then my happiness goes back to the state where it was prior to the stimulus. And so I go back into desiring again, right? And so the cycle keeps on continuing. It's the exact same thing as smoking a cigarette, right? I smoke a cigarette because why? I have the urge, I want to smoke, right? But when I can't, I'm on an airplane, I can't smoke, it feels bad, and then I suffer. So when I smoke, it's supposed to be good, right? It's supposed to resolve all my suffering because this desire is being quenched. But when I have it, the first sip, it feels amazing. But then the second, third, and then by the end, it's like, you got used to it, right? It doesn't consistently feel like the first hit. And then you blow it out, and then now, just a few minutes later, you're back to wanting to smoke again, right? So, that is the mechanism of suffering. So how do we stop suffering? And we stop suffering by just noticing the desire. I want to smoke. But we don't do anything about it. And doing something about the desire is usually one of two possibilities. We either engage in the desire by doing what it is that we want, or we suppress it, right? So, I want to smoke. If I light up a cigarette, then we're engaging in the desire. And it feels good for the immediate while, but then shortly after we fall into the cycle of suffering again. We don't, but at the same time we're like, and your mind is consumed by the thought of cigarettes, and then I really want to smoke, oh fuck, I can't, but I really want to smoke, oh man. And then I'm imagining all these smoking things, and then so that is suppressing the urge, right? Suppressing the urge seems like it's a good way for overcoming the desire, but it comes at the cost of stress. And whenever stress is incurred in your mind, you run out of energy, and there comes a point where you're completely burnt out. And when you're trying to run on empty, it's a pretty bad state to be in because you get completely burned out, right? And burnout affects not only the immediate topic that you have in your life, but when you're burnt out, it impacts overall how you view the world and your life. So the middle way is not engaging in any of the extremes. You just simply note that the desire is there, and then you decide, okay, so what am I gonna do about this? Oh, wait, my urge wants me to keep smoking. It keeps popping up. And then you realize, oh, I really want to smoke right now. Okay. And we just leave it at that. And then, but won't it come up again? Yes, it will. Because especially the longer you've smoked, the urge will come up again. But we're not giving you this, Buddhism isn't trying to give you this one and done answer, right? Because happiness isn't this one and done thing. You're always prone to, future suffering, because suffering is kind of, the mechanism of suffering is so deeply ingrained in the human psychology. We get used to things. We acclimate to stimulus, right? It's basically part of our biology and neurology. So we're just gonna keep noticing it happens, and then, oh wait, I want to smoke again. Okay. And then I go about my day, and then, oh, I want to smoke again. Oh, okay. And the more we let the desire be without attaching any kind of follow-up to it, the more this loses steam. And that is how we kind of distance ourselves from suffering. And the best way to put this into practice is meditation. So you just, suppose you're going to meditate for 10 minutes, right? I'm here, I'm sitting, and then, I feel my face is itchy. And then my back is a little uncomfortable. And, okay, gonna start again. Feeling a little thirsty, so I'm gonna grab a cup of water. Okay, so this isn't meditation, right? This is just sitting down and listening to, following all of your urges. Meditation just for 10 minutes is, okay, I want to scratch my face. Yeah, I feel thirsty. My back is a little bit stiff and I want to move my leg. And we just let it be. Just for 10 minutes. And if 10 minutes is too long for you, you can just start with 5 minutes. Just practice being there with yourself and just letting things flow by. Oh, I really want to. Okay, it's fine. Right? There's no difference between I want to scratch my face versus I really want to scratch my face. Both are just things that you want to do. Both are desires still, just in different kind of an amplitude, right? But you can see how, the smaller desires will be easier to ignore. But the bigger desires, it'll be harder to ignore, right? So that's why we start out with like 5-minute meditations. Just so we can get the sense of, hey, it is possible to not follow through. We give ourselves more and more of a taste that we are in control of our life. We don't need to follow every urge. And the longer and the longer and the longer you do it, the more you get to be in touch with your innate ability to be in control of your life. And with that practice and the correct understanding of the mechanism of suffering, you can engage in the removal of suffering, which is the practice of Buddhist happiness.